Hi, Ryan Thompson here with Global Rescue Direct. I want to talk to you about your first 30 days as a global business owner with GRD. Now, assuming you've already signed up, you've received your ID number, you've downloaded two apps. One, your service app, right, which shows you the different features of the services. And the second is our GBO app, which gives you access into your virtual office. And you can manage your business from your phone. You should also have selected your membership. Now, the membership that you select, remember, most people that you introduce this to, they're going to want to know what membership you came in with. Now, certainly you're going to help them decide which membership is best for them as far as the number of consoles and some of the other features that they allow them. But typically, you've got to remember that people like you, when they joined, they didn't understand all the different features and benefits. They're going to defer to you largely. So make sure that the one that you're coming in with is going to give you all the value that you need and the stories that you need, because for you to grow your business, it requires you to open your mouth and tell your story about your experiences, how you've accessed healthcare virtually through your phone or through video or whatever those stories are. So make sure that the membership that you have is big enough for you to be able to access it when you need it. So that's the first thing that I want to talk about. The second thing is expectations. Most people quit business when their expectations are not met. Most people say that they fail network marketing, not because they fail, but because their expectations weren't met. And where I'm going with this is most people do not properly set, and therefore they don't know how to manage their expectations, not only with themselves, but with their team members. So let's make sure that you are setting and managing proper expectations. To do this, you've got to understand how to optimize your chances for success. Most people will sign up, they get excited, they want to run out and they start telling everybody in the world that they know about what they're doing. They get rejected and they decide this isn't for them, and they say, well, it works for some people, but not for me. Everybody that I've talked to said no. Well, you should know right off the bat that everyone's going to tell you no. As a matter of fact, statistically, about 1% of people will tell you yes. So 99% are going to say no. It doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that you can't do this. You can't create a massive residual asset through network marketing. You can, but you've got to understand the law of averages, or the law of numbers. I'm going to talk about the law of numbers in terms of law of averages. This simply means that rather than trying to focus on the enrollment, focus on presentations. Focus on the number of times the information is being exposed into the marketplace. And I don't mean just by you, right? That would be to understand this principle incorrectly. The law of averages is the number of contacts you make, but the number of contacts that your team is making as well, and their team, and their team, and their team. That's when you've really understood how to harness the law of averages. That people duplicate behavior. You model the behavior for others, and then they will replicate or duplicate what you do, simply because that's how we teach people, and that's how we learn. In any profession, that's how we learn. As a matter of fact, people fool themselves to think that the only way to learn is academically through watching, reading, listening. That's where you get information, but you learn by doing. Once you apply that, okay? So this is what we mean by duplication. People watch what you do, then they go do what you've done, all right? And they have their own on-the-job learning experience, okay? But make sure that when you are out building your business, you're not finding yourself doing something that is not totally duplicatable by 100% of the people who you talk to. If you are doing something that's not 100% duplicatable, then you don't understand the law of averages and the law of duplication either. And I would encourage you to keep things very, very simple. People ask themselves two questions when they're evaluating a business, a network marketing business especially, or any business. And those questions are, can I do that? And do I want to do that? Right? So if you're doing something that is prohibitive, and people look at it and they say, well, that's interesting, but I don't want to do what that guy is doing. He memorizes too much information, right? That's great for him, but I don't want to do what he's doing, right? He's making phone calls at 2 o'clock in the morning, or driving across country at 2 o'clock in the morning. You've got to be very careful the example that you set out there, because you may find yourself doing things that people just don't want to do. That's the first prohibitive point. The second is people need to see themselves doing what you're doing. So keep it simple. Simply put people in, connect people with the information, and that's it. Share your personal experience with others, and that's really it. If people understand why you're doing what you're doing, right? The fact that you're passionate about entrepreneurship, the fact that you're passionate about this approach to healthcare, and that you believe that you can capture market share through this. Share with people your passion, right? Your why you're doing this, and then just connect them with the information. Most people will be able to look at that and say, hey, you know what? I'm like that guy. I can do what he's doing. He's not memorizing a bunch of statistics and information on the industry, right? He's simply connecting me with information. And when I talk to somebody who does have that information, my friend or contact is simply a clear window for me to accessing that information. So that's all you have to be, is a clear window to information. All right. You don't have to be the expert or the message, just be the messenger. And when people say no, they're not saying no to you. They're not rejecting you. They're simply telling you that's code for this. Timing's not right for me. Right. Regardless of the excuse they're giving you, really what they're saying is that the timing is not right for them, which is what leads me to the second important point here is when you understand the law of averages, you also understand that you've got to contact people multiple times or follow up with them. The average person says yes 1% of the time. 99% of people say yes on a second, third, fourth, or fifth, or sixth, or seventh contact. As a matter of fact, 80% of people say yes or agree to go to the next step when they've been followed up with between 5 to 7 times. So if you don't understand what I'm saying, or if you don't understand what I'm saying, just try it. All right, go out there and contact people and see how many people say yes on that first time. But then the more times you follow up with them, the more information they're going to be getting, and over time they're going to be more willing to take that next step. Now, I want to talk about databasing, creating a dynamic contact list. Okay, databasing, when I say dynamic contact list, is a list of people that doesn't change. It's not a static list, right? It doesn't just, you're not just creating a list of 200 names and contacting that list of 200 names, but you're constantly adding people to it. Now, if you're like me, you have a smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, you should probably think about getting one. But in your smartphone, you have a lot of contacts, right? That's where your whole world resides, is inside your cell phone for the most part. So most people have well over 200 contacts in there, but just start with 200, okay? Contact those 200 and begin following up with them, and then move through those contacts very methodically over and over again. Remember, this is a people business. For you to have success at this business, it does not require you to be an expert in understanding the underpinnings of the healthcare system, or the detailed details around our services that we provide. It does, however, require that you follow up with people. Keep track of your contacts. When you contact someone, keep notes on them. Write down when you contacted them. What did they tell you? And then make sure you're following up with them. As you become an expert in following up with people, that's when your business will begin to grow and even explode. And you're going to teach this skill to other people. This is the biggest skill really for you to learn, is that you're simply exposing information, right? That's the invite. You're inviting people to get information, whether it's through a recorded call, a video, a three-way call, a one-on-one at a coffee shop, or at someone's house, or at a restaurant. Okay, that's just inviting people to get the information. But the follow-up is where the fortune is. Okay, you're going to follow up with people multiple times, and if you're not keeping track of them, you're going to have a hard time following up with people. So make sure that you're duplicating that cycle over and over again. Okay, the contacting, inviting, and following up cycle. And the last step in what we call duplication model there, or duplication cycle, is resolving concerns and inviting people to join you. And the reason why I say resolving concerns is simply because it's answering questions. People have questions, but get their questions answered, and that's the point at which they will be ready to join you. Let me talk about the law of averages in closing here, because I believe that this is the most important point for you to understand during your first 30 days in business, as well as your 300th day or in business, approaching a year later, or even 3,000th day in business. And that is simply this: if you've got 30 to 60 minutes to spend per day to build your business, you should do it engaged in productive activity, contacting people, not organizing emails, not organizing files, not making Facebook posts or LinkedIn posts. All that stuff can be useful, but you should be proactively contacting people. If you're only spending an hour a day, then that's enough time to make 15 to 20 calls. Of those 15 to 20 calls, you will likely only speak with 15 people. With 5 people. With those 5 people that you speak with, you will likely only be able to do 1 to 2 presentations per day. It's just the nature of other people's schedules. Remember, this isn't about you. This is about them, right? And so people's schedules are, if your contacts are like mine, they're typically busy, and you've got to make follow-up contacts with them. So let's just say that you're doing 1 to 2 presentations per day. Worst case scenario, cut that in half. You're doing 1 presentation every other day. So you've got 15 presentations that you're doing each month. As you do that, after approximately 60 days, you will have enrolled 10 people or sold 10 memberships. Some will be members, some will be GBOs. Most of your GBOs will say, yes, I will do what you're doing. I can do 15 presentations per month. Statistically, 2 out of those 10 people will do what you're doing. Those are just the numbers, and it's important for you to understand these numbers. So work with those 2 people, right? Spend your time helping those 2 people enroll and find their first 10 people. Each of those 10 people will tell your friends and those 2 members of your team that they're going to do their 15 presentations a month. But statistically, they're only going to do 50. Only 2 of them will duplicate. But if you're continuing to do your 15 plans a month, and your 2 friends are doing their 15 presentations a month, now you have 45 presentations in your business each month. Okay, will your business grow with 45 presentations taking place? The answer is yes. It will grow slowly, but it will grow. But once they duplicate and you help them enroll their 10, 2 of those 10 duplicating what their mentor did with them, which was do 15 presentations, now you have 105 presentations taking place in your business every month. Will it continue to grow? The answer is yes. Continue to work only with the people who are doing their part. You don't have time to try and get people to work who aren't doing their part. You can only spend your time with people who are doing their part. What is their part? 15 presentations per month, each month and every month, right? Help them enroll their 10. 2 of their 10 will duplicate, meaning will duplicate their 15 presentations. When that happens, 1 more generation down, you now have 225 presentations taking place each month in your business. The question you need to ask yourself is, will your business continue to grow if you have 225 presentations taking place each month? The answer is yes. You get my point. Continue to follow this cycle of duplication, right? Focusing on number of phone calls per day, number of presentations per day, and number of presentations per month. That is understanding that's harnessing the law of averages, because when you do that, the enrollments follow. When you do that, your rank will follow and your income will follow as well. This is how you create and build an asset over time that will pay you residually over the long haul. If you're trying it any other way, it will probably not work, right? This is not about going and doing a presentation in front of 800 people and expecting all of them to sign up and buy a membership. They might buy a membership, but will they duplicate what you're doing? Not unless you're modeling it for them. So enroll in bunches, right? So that you can work with those people who you enroll, and they can learn what you do and they can understand how to build their business, okay? So focus on a minimum 15 presentations a month, or better yet, 1 to 2 presentations per day, right? And improve your odds a little bit. So this is the most important aspect about setting and managing expectations. When people fail at this, or they come to you and they say, hey, I'm not having success, just ask them, are you doing your presentations each and every day? How many presentations are you doing a day? Do you do 1 or 2 a day? And if they say no, and say, well, last month, did you do at least 15 presentations per month? If they say no, well, then they've got to get back and focus on going through those numbers. If they say yes, then maybe work with them and help them be there for them. Take them to this next step, which is find out if they are trying to do the entire presentation themselves, or if they're using their resources. Because oftentimes people don't have success when they try to do the entire presentation themselves. All they need to be doing, and all you need to be doing, is connecting people with the information. And that information could be a video, it could be a pre-recorded call, or a 3-way call, all right? The most important thing that you can do is build your relationships and connect people with the information. You should be connected to your goals, right? So if you haven't written those down, write them down and revisit them each and every day. And your goals are your why, right? And you've got to connect yourself with those. These are not just, this is not an exercise of futility where you just have some income goals. You've got to connect yourself with those goals. By connecting yourself, what I mean by that is understand why those are your goals. And if you can't connect yourself with them, if you don't know why they're your goals, you've got to change them, because they will not be strong enough to push you through and keep you going when the going gets tough. And it will get tough, right? You'll get burnt out. You'll get tired. And the way you get over that is by connecting yourself each and every day with your goals. Now, what I'm saying right now is something important for you to do with members of your team. Make sure that you are an accountability partner for them, and that they are an accountability partner for you, and that you can connect yourselves regularly with each other's goals, help each other remember why you're doing this in the first place and starting your own business. Because this is going to be critically important, again, when things become challenging. But if you can connect yourself with your goals, you can overcome almost any obstacle in this and get through to the other side. So again, these are some of the most important things for you to do in your first 30 days of business. And just to revisit, that's write down your goals or your why. Is create that dynamic contact list, revisit that, constantly evolve it, and add people to it. Invite people to see the information or to hear the information. Make sure that they're getting a presentation, whether it's from you or from somebody else. Follow up with them, right? An average of 5 to 7 times, and then help resolve their concerns or just answer their questions and invite them to join you as a member of your team. That is the duplication model. Repeat that over and over and over again. And if you can do that in your first 30 days, then you can do it in your 300 days or 3,000 days from now as well, and continue to have success. So this has been great. Make sure that you watch this video again if you feel like you've missed something, and I can't wait to see you soon. Take care.